Hi lovely, welcome back again to my channel. This is Dotman Stitches. In today's video we are going to learn how to cut this peplon top with the zip at the center and this beautiful sleeve. So stay tuned to the end. So this is the measurements I'm working with. So the bust is 14 and the waist is 38 and the shoulder is 16. So from the shoulder to the nipple is 11 inches. From the shoulder to the under bust is 14 inches, and from the shoulder to the half length is 16. So with this, I'm going to use this material. This sequence, Ankara, Wardy, and the lining, and this is the shape I'm going to use to it. So now the first thing, I folded my fabric into two like this, because I'm going to cut out the front and back together. So the half length I'm working with is 16. So I added 2 inches to it, that is 18. So that's the length. And the bust measurement I'm working with is 40. So 40 divided by 4 is 10. Then I added 8 inches to it, that is 48. So I mark out 48 here. So now I will connect all this line. I'll connect everything before I now cut it out. So once I've connected all the line, so I will now cut everything. So this is it. So this is the two pieces now. This is the front and the back. Now I'm going to place this back aside because I want to work with the front piece alone for now. So this is the front piece. I folded it into two like this. So I make sure that the two are laid together. So now I took the tape. So this is the center front. So I firstly mark out from the center front to the neckline, which is the 3 inches width. And from the center front to the shoulder is 8 inches. You know, the shoulder is 16 divided by 2, so that is 8. Then I later came down by 1 inches for the shoulder slope. So from here I connected this shoulder slope to the neckline. So once I've done with this, I took my tape and I mark half inches for this shoulder here. This half inches is going to start as my starting point. So that's the allowance for the shoulder. I connected it again with the neckline. So don't forget to place the half inches like that. Then from this side now, I'll be taking I place the tape again. So from the shoulder now to the nipple, which is 11 inches. So now from the shoulder to the half length is 14 inches. I mark it. And to the normal waist, which is 16 inches. So and this is the remaining allowance. Now I'll be using ruler to connect this line. This is the under bust, the waist, and the normal length. So don't forget, I'm still going to have the peplon at the downside. The full length of the blouse I'm working with is 25, but now I'm working with the half length first, from the shoulder to the half length. So after, when I'm through with this, and then I'll cut out the downside, which is the peplon side. But firstly, I want to work out with this first. So now after connecting the line, now I place the tape again from the shoulder to the armhole. So your bust measurement divided by 6, then you add 1.5 to it. So this one I'm working with now is 8.5. So from shoulder to that side is 8.5. Then I make a straight line. Now I took the tape again to get the bust measurement, which is 40 divided by 4, which is 10. So this is the 10. So I extend this line. Now from this place, from the shoulder, I try to get the middle side. So this is the middle side. From the shoulder here to this is the middle side, which is 5 inches. Then I came in by half inches in at this side, half inches, to avoid the. So I'm going to connect it like this, so that piece will not be folding. So that's why then from this shoulder here, I connect it to this half length, here from that point. So to this 10 inches of this line. So just watch me the way I'm doing it. So I connected it like this. Now I'm going to measure the breast span, which is your first breast to the second breast nipple. This one is 8 inches, so divide by 2, that's 4. I mark out 4 inches there. Then I place the tape to the under bust. I reduce half inches from that 4, so this is 3.5. And to the downside also, I mark out 3.5. So I connect the 3.5 together with this 4 inches here. So once we connected it, then I took the tape to mark out this from this shoulder here to this armhole. So this is the middle side, which is 5 inches. So I'm going to connect it then to that side. So I use the curve ruler to curve it, and you can use a free hand. So this is it. So now from this down side there, I'm going to mark out 2 inches because it's going to be a bustier princess. So these 2 inches from this side. Now from this center here, I came down by 1 inches. Then from the center also, I came up by 1 inches like this. So this 1 inches for this both up and down. Then I connected it with this line, so to avoid the sharp in that area, so I connected it like this with the 2 inches down there. So then from this side, I'm going to remove 1.5, but that 1.5 I'm going to share it into 2, so 0.75 in the other side and the other side also. So I will now connected it with this line, so I share that 1.5 into 2, 0.5 downward. So now I'm going to extend that place with 1.5, so that by the time I join it back, so this thing is going to be round. So that's why I came out by 1.5. And that 1.5, I'm going to replace it back in that armhole side. So that is the new armhole now. So I'm creating another new line for the armhole. So this is it. So I'm going to follow this second one now. This armhole. Now this is it. So after this one now, I will be taking the bust measurements. So this bust measurement divided by 4, which is 10. That 1.5 that I'm going to return it to that side. Then I had 2 inches for the seam allowance. And for the waist also, I'm going to divide the waist divided by 4. So these 2 inches from that side, I'm going to replace it back. Then later I added another 2 inches for the seam allowance. Then I connected it to the bust line, to the waistline. Connected everything together like this. Now for the downside there, I came in by 1 inches or by half inches. So in order to avoid the sharp edge in that side, so I now connected it with this line. I'm going to cut out that side, this side. I'm going to cut out this side. So in order to avoid the sharp edge, then I'll be cutting my fabrics. It's going to have slip at the front. I'm supposed to put slip allowance in that front, but I'm not putting it because I want to use another fabric for this front. So that's why I didn't put slip allowance. So after cutting it now, I will place it in another fabric. So I've cut it out. Now this is another fabric. So I want this pattern to be at the center, this pattern, this green pattern. So that's why I want to use this place as the front side. So now I'll create my slip allowance here. So if you are cutting your own together with the slip, so just put like 2 inches or 1.5 allowance for the slip allowance before start measuring. But this one now, so this is slip allowance 1.5 inches. Then I trace it the way it is like this. I just trace it directly like this. Then I use it to cut it out. So that first one is wasted. I'm not using it again. So this is my new center front now. So I'm trying to cut out this printing part. So this is the slip allowance now. I'm not using this again. So this is my center front now. Now I'll be taking the measurement, the neck measurement, which is 3 inches width, and the depth is 4 inches, or you can make it to be 4.5. So now I'm trying to connect this line together with this line. So at this point now, from this side, I came in by half inches. I mark it because it's half one kind neck design. So I placed the tape. I came down by 2 inches to have the second stepped neckline. So this is it. I'm trying to curve it. So from this upper here, I curve it to meet this line. So like 2 steps now, like this 2 steps. So this is it for our neckline. So now I'm going to cut it. I went ahead to cut it out. So this is it now. So I'm notching the slip side. So this is the slip side that I notched it so that it will be easier for you to know the slip side. Now this is the 2 center fronts now. So this is our neckline. So this is the sequence I'm going to use to cut out the upper part. So I just place the fabric on this sequence directly like this. So I'll use it to trace it like this, then I'll cut it out. So now I'm going to mark out 4 inches. 4 inches like this. Don't forget, I'm going to fold your sequence into 2 like this also. Then I'm going to trace it. So when you get to the down side, you can make it to be 6 inches. So because it's not clearly, that's why I'm using this one, this plain fabric for the illustration. So that you people you see it. So now this is it. So I've used this plain fabric to cut it out so that it will be clearly, because I can see that it's not clear on this sequence. So this is it. So once you cut it out now, I'm going to open this side because the zip side here, the center front here. So after opening it, I went ahead to place it directly to this Ankara fabrics. So this is it. Just place it directly and pin it and stitch it directly like this. Take it to the machine and stitch it before cutting out the lining and all this wording interfacing also. So this is the line that I'm going to use to turn it. So now I'm working with the back now. So I folded the back into 2 the way I did for the front. So this is the 3 inches neck width and the shoulder 8 inches. Then I came down by 1 inch the way I did for the front. So I connected it with the neckline. Then I came down by ½ inches the shoulder allowance. So that's the starting point also. So I connected it with the neckline. Now from this side I took my tape. So I measure the armhole side, which is 8.5. I connected it with the armhole. So the bust from the shoulder to the nipple, which is 11, I mark it. To the underbust, which is 14, I mark it, and the normal line, which is 16, with the allowance. So I make a line, connect the line like this. So after connected the line, so this is the underbust line. So now the bust measurement, which is 40 divided by 4, that is 10. I mark out 10. So I place the tape, I target the center of this armhole here. So this is it. So this is the center. From this center here, I'm not coming in by ½ inches again at the back. It's only at the front. So I will just shape it like this. I will curve it. So this, I connected it like this. So now the neck width now is 3 inches and the neck depth is 1.5. So I'm going to curve that side for the back neck. No zip allowance again at the back. So since the zip is already in the front, so I don't need to put zip at the back again. So like this, I just curve it. Then your bust measurement. the bust span, you know, is 8 divided by 2, that is 4. So I mark out 4 here, 3.5 at the on the bust. So I connected it together. So it's going to be in form of princess also. So if you like, you can just make your dart directly like this without princess, but now this one is going to be in form of princess. So I'm going to connect this line to the half line here. So I want to extend that place with 1.5. So I want it to come up a little bit. So that's why I extended that place, and I came out by 1.5 also, so that by the time I join it, so it won't be short, so everything will be equal. So that 1.5, I extended it to this place. So this is another new armhole. I curve it like that. Then from this down side, the down space is half inches. I mark out half inches for the both sides, half inches. I connected it with the nipple. So this one is not going to be, it's not going to be in bustier, it's just normal dart. So that just to have fitted at the back, to make the back to be firm. So I connected it like that. So now I will cut it out now. So just take the bust measurement and put 2 inches allowance, and also the waist measurement divided by 4. Your 1 inches and that, just return it back. So just replace it, this 1 inches that, then put your allowance also 2 inches and connected it. I connected it together. So now I'm going to cut it out. So once I've done with this, so this is the back piece now. So once I'm through with this, I'm going to cut out this side, this allowance here, so that this back will not be more than the front. You know, the front parts have the bustier, so by the time I cut out this place, everything will be balanced. So I have to cut out this side so that it will be equal to the front parts. So this is it. So I'm going to cut out the lining for this, and also lining for the front, and this body for the front also. So now I've already stitched this one, and I've added the wording, and this is it. I've already added the wording for the front. So I will just place it like this, and I will stitch it. I will stitch it like this. So I've taken it to the machine and stitch it, and this is the lining for the front and also for the back. So guys, I've already stitched it. So this is it. So I'll notch this side, this bustier side, I'm going to notch it. So I notch the two. So this is it. Now at this point, now I will use the lining to turn it. So I notch the other one too. So guys, this is the outlook. Now I will use lining to turn the neck and this front side. Just place your lining directly and stitch it like this. just place it like this and stitch it. And this for the back. So I already placed the lining for the back side. So now this is the front. I already joined the shoulder, the front shoulder with the back shoulder. I just use half inches to join it. Then I took the bust measurement, waist measurement. So this is it, and the waist measurement, everything is joined. So now the next thing to do, because I want to cut the downside now, I will just place my tape. This is the half length, which is 16. And I'm working with the full length, which is 25. So now 25 minus 16. So the remaining one is 9 inches. So now I took the tape and measure all this waistline. I measure all, so whatever you have from this side, which is 38. I have 38 plus 1 inch, that is 39. So now 39 divided by 6.28, I'm going to have something like 6.2 inches. So that's 6.2 inches. Now I'm going to use it to cut out this flared. Now this is the fabric I want to use for the flared. So I folded it into 2 and folded it again, making 4. When you cut it now, it's going to be in 4 pieces. So I folded it again. Now when you measure from the shoulder to the half length, it's 16. So you minus 25 minus 16, you are going to have 9. So that 9 plus 6 inches of this circumference is going to be 15. So mark out 15 and shape it around like this. From that upper side, just mark your 15 all around like this. After marking your 15, then you place the tape again to mark out your 9 inches here for the flared. So this is the 9 inches I'm marking out now. Then you have the half inches allowance to it. So this is it. After marking it out, then you are going to cut it now. So firstly cut this out, then cut out this flared. So this is it. Yeah, I'm done with this cutting. So now I use this one to cut out I'm notching the center. Then you open one side. I use this one to cut out the lining and the interfacing. It is paper stage or anything you like to use as the interfacing. So this is it. I use it to cut out. Then you open one side here for the zip. So this is it. I've already placed the interfacing on my lining. So this is it. Then I'll just use it to turn it from this down side here to the upper side. So use your iron to gum it. Just place it on the lining and use the iron to place it. Then now turn it. Now after turning it, I've already turned it like this. So I will notch the center front. This is center front. So I notch the center front, and this center of the blouse, I make sure that both are aligned. So you can use pin to pin it down. So from this side, I'm going to stitch it round. So now this guy, I've stitching it and I've whipped all this inner. So this is it. The remaining part here, I use it to put the pleats at this center front. So this is the 2 pleating, as you can see it. So this is the pleating. So the next thing, I just place my zip now. So our cloth is almost ready. So while plaiting the zip, I left like half inches this down side there. So you see the half inches now. So before placing the zip. So if the zip is longer than your fabric, so you can cut the remaining parts. So this is the slip. I already placed the zip. Now the next thing, now I'm going to our sleeve to cut out the sleeve. So this is it. If you watch it to this end, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. So now this is the sleeve now. So this is the fabric. I want to cut out the fabric together with the lining. So this is the fabric and the lining. So the length of this one is 22 inches length, and the width is also 22 inches. So now I folded it again to 2 with the lining also. I folded it to 2 like this. Then I folded it again, making 4. So now from this here I'm marking 10.5 all around, depending on how you want your sleeve to be long. If you want it to be longer than this, so just add to your fabric. But this one I don't want it to be too long, so that's why I'm using this measurement. If you want it to be longer than this, you just add to your measurement, you understand? So now I'm marking out 10.5 all around. So I'm going to cut out that side. So now once you've cut out, so now I will mark this center, then I open it back. So from this center that I marked now, I will make a straight line, or can I say cross line, because after the straight line, horizontal line and the vertical line, so that's as I can say maybe it's cross line. So just mark your line like this. Anyhow. So now you mark it again like this. From that center, you mark it. So after this, I went ahead to mention